Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. As Teresa said, I'm going to kind of take you guys through Studio Mapper. This is a product that we've released in the last month. It's something that we are excited to show you guys, and also always looking for feedback, which is great as well. So what is Studio Mapper? Studio Mapper is our smart task-focused field mapping application. It is designed to work both on a desktop device as well as on a portable tablet that you can take underground with you. Studio Mapper stores all your mapping data in a managed flexible database and encourages controlled data capture, storage, sharing, and processing. What's great about Studio Mapper is that it's based on our Studio engine. It's also designed by experienced geologists that we have on our team at Datamine, which gives you unrestricted access to the extensive tools that we have available for you. What is the goal of Studio Mapper? It allows you to capture geological features at the mining face, or with limited time underground, you can always take pictures and do it back in the office. We can capture other data observed underground in the form of sketches or comments. We can also visualize channel and chip sample locations as well as structural features underground. Because Studio Mapper runs on a tablet, you can actually use a stylus for digitizing your features to make it a lot quicker when you're at the face. After you've digitized your maps, you can georeference them using our location tools to fit them in your underground environment, as you see here. What's great about Studio Mapper is that it's completely customizable to your environment. You can configure different geological features, such as lithology, alteration, structural features that fits your environment. We have access to templates that Studio uses to automatically apply legends and labels to each feature as you digitize them underground. Sketches and comments are also used for either geological features or different types of data that you wish to record and store on your faces. Once you've done collecting all of your data, we have a tool that allows you to report these features in a PDF, so you can visualize the maps, location, table data, and all of that to hand off at the end of the day. Because it runs on the Studio platform, you can also export all these features to your other 3D software, such as Studio RM. If you're using Studio RM, simply just drag and drop, and all these features become available with your drill holes and your wireframes to visualize together. All right, so I'm gonna now dive right into the software for you guys to take a look at. As you can see here, that it's a very standard Studio user interface for those of you who are used to using Studio products. We have our ribbons along the top that allows us to specify which maps we're working on. We can see here the ones that are stored in our database. We also have our georeference tools, which we'll look at later. We can also set up and manage our database and profiles that we use inside Studio Mapper. And of course, formatting legends, formatting layers, all of that can be done through here as well. We also have our contextual ribbon. So once you are in a map and you're digitizing, you'll see all the different types of digitizing tools we have here, such as AutoNode for your stylus, as well as snapping, inserting points and lines. All of that is done through here. You'll also notice that Studio has a new control bar called the data project data. So this would kind of combine our project files as well as our sheets tab. So you'll see here that I can bring up the same as I do in Studio. We can look at our tables. We can see all this information here. And of course, we can also use this to change the different attributes and apply our customized templates to our features as we're drawing through here. The mapping tab, this is where we're going to do most of the digitizing for all of our maps that you see here. We have our map properties to specify the dimensions of the face that we're working on. We can also specify which type of profile we're using underground. You'll see here that I have a profile for the face, but you can also add profiles for back mapping and wall mapping if you wish to as well. You see here that I also have different features I can digitize, such as geology, channel samples, and structures. My geology right now is completely customized with pick lists to fit this specific environment. We also have different veining. We also have different alteration that I've assigned to this geological feature called geology. I also have a feature called channel samples. So for the time being, channel samples are being taken as a feature. In the upcoming versions, version 2, I believe, we're actually going to have a tab for sampling, which will actually create a drill hole out of. We also have our structure feature, where you can see I also have a pick list to determine which types of feature I'm digitizing on the face. We also have the ability to create sketches. So you can see here that my 1 through 6 is actually drawn in. So this is kind of where the stylus comes into play. So if you want to type something like AU, then of course that comes in as you see it there. We also have the option to add a comment. So if you'd rather have something that looks a little more pretty, then of course you can put something like this, and it appears on here as well. So where do all these pick lists and all these structures come from? What we need to do inside Studio Mapper is to create a XML file, which is our configuration file. So you'll see here that we do have a blank file to give to users that will allow them to set something up similar to what you see here. It defines the features you'd wish to digitize, as well as the pick lists you wish to use, and even which templates you'd like to apply to each object in here. So when you're digitizing, this configuration file will be called to make your maps look like this. So how do we go about creating a new map? We can specify here which name we'd like to be. The name, of course, comes from the XML file as well, or you can edit it if you want here. I also have different map types. If I wish to digitize the back, if I want a full heading, or just the face as well. Let's go full heading. We can define our width and height. Press OK. And we're going to get a new blank map that you see here. What's also great about Studio Mapper is we can actually use images to digitize on our face as well. So if I were to come in here and select my image, then it's going to bring it in on my map as you see here. What I can do next is add the profile to specify where I'm mapping, and you'll see this area will appear. If you want to resize your image, it's actually quite easy. Inside this here, we select a point and we move it to where we want it to be, and we can actually resize this to fit inside that profile a little bit better than we saw before. We come in here and select which types of features we want to start with. Let's start with something like geology. You can see here that I have an intrusive unit around here. We simply just digitize this guy, and it creates a polygon. We can then select which type we're looking at. We can say it's some sort of mafic intrusive, and we can determine if it's any veining, any alteration, using these different pick lists as you see here. We can also use our sketches to define these lines on here if we want to, and we can make these different changes as we go along on the face. Once you're done mapping, the next step would be to bring it into the 3D window. So if you look here, this is what my 3D window currently looks like. I have a wireframe that defines my underground workings. I have a drill hole file to see where I've drilled in this area, and you'll notice that I have 4 maps that I have already created in this area, and they are displayed where they need to be. It works just like the Studio 3D window. You can rotate, you can clip, you can change the different views, cut new sections, and have these in here. So if I want to georeference the map I just made, first I'm going to cut a section by 2 points, make it a vertical section, and I'm going to clip it so I can visualize where I'm looking at. I can then come to my map, use our georeference tools to locate this by 2 points. So if I select my 2 points on my map here, go over to 3D, I can then select my points here, and it'll georeference my image there. Of Of course, not in a live demo. Just thinking, I think with the image, it seems to take a little bit more time. So then my map becomes georeferenced in this area, and then now we'll see it in that location that we see there. So the last thing that we do inside Studio Mapper is the reporting. So the reporting is the part that is commonly done by most beach geologists in the underground environment. So what we do with that is we actually can create a plot template that looks like this. So you'll see here that I've set this up to be specific to my working environment. I have a table to display my channel samples on it. I'd like to know which map I'm using. I'd like to see each of the different faces on here. This template is created using our plots window, same as in Studio, and is recorded inside the XML file that you can see here. When I go into my map, I simply just have to hit the PDF button. It's going to grab all of this data and it's going to save it to my plots, and they'll have something that looks like this. So this types of data is what you would like to see on a regular basis. And of course, it has all of our features with our templates used, and they're seen there. What's nice about Studio Mapper is it actually saves everything in this type of database that we've created to have a better folder file system for your data. You'll see here that all of my maps are stored inside this database here, and each map contains my features, profiles, and sketches that I've digitized. And of course, we can look this up and you'll see it's a table specifying all the points, all the pick lists that I've selected, and where it's located in the mine. What it also does is it creates a folder for your plots. So we just saw there that I created this new plot for this guy, and it's stored directly in this folder. You also notice that all the templates I'm using are stored inside here, so Mapper knows where to call these from. Any other drill holes or drives or wireframes that you'd like to see, we can always have in this folder, or they can be stored elsewhere, same with our other Studio products. So that is mostly what I have for you guys today. It kind of just highlights where we are with the product and where we're hoping to go with it.
Well, thank you, Courtney. We will now begin the Q&A session. As I mentioned earlier, if you have a question for our presenter, please type it into the question box on your screen. During the presentation, we actually already got a couple questions, so we'll start off with those. Courtney, what type of information can be reported on the PDF?
The PDF is designed to report whatever you would like to show. It's mainly for the map sketches. However, any table attributes that you've collected can also be reported on here, as well as any table that you've added to Studio Mapper to visualize as well.
Perfect. And as well, can you run other Studio commands in Studio Mapper?
So we do have the ability to run some quick keys that you see inside Studio. So if I wanted to run something to query a string, I've done a quick command and you'll see the output here. It gives me my area. Here. But again, it is mainly designed to work with Studio RM or Studio EM. It's not designed to replace that.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you very much again, Courtney, and everybody else who joined us. We appreciate your time. And if you have any questions or comments, you can reach me at teresa.bowers@dataminesoftware.com. Thank you very much, and we'll see you again next week. Cheers.